today we'll be talking about eating culture, and our guest in the house is the CEO of ASO Extra, and she is Chinenye Orakwue.
Orakwue.
How are you doing? Wow. I tried
I'm
my
good.
best.
I'm good.
How you
Thank you
doing? It's
so
such an
much.
honor having you.
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
It's my
excited to
pleasure.
be here.
I am excited. I'm happy. I'm happy. Any opportunity to talk about nutrition, I love it. Yes,
Ah.
I
So
do.
today we're talking about eating culture. I want to ask,
Okay.
in some African homes right now, do you think our eating culture is right or standard?
Mm. Well, what is standard? Who sets the standard? But what I would say though is in Africa, let me use Nigeria for example for a case study. Eating culture differs from state to state or region by region.
Okay.
So if you are talking about the West, maybe we could be talking about things like amala and the wedu. If you go to the East, maybe we'll talk about bitter leaf and fufu. If you go to Delta person will talk about starch and banga. So our culture differs, and that's how our eating culture differs. What I can say is that we just have to be grateful because it just shows the huge heritage of blessings that we have as a people. So what I would say that is that we appreciate what we have, and then we can talk about the content.
Okay.
You know, maybe how can we make the content to be more nutritious? And what I mean by that is that, for example, I always see when people make a soup in Yoruba that they call a foriro, right? I hope I got that right.
Yeah,
So a
efforiro.
foriro. So some people fry the leaves so dry that the leaf becomes dead. So maybe those are the kind of things. How do we cook what we cook, rather than setting a standard?
Standard
Yes,
for
because that's
eating
what
right.
for eating right. Because that's what, of course, in Nigeria we have our staple food. Every one of us, we know that our staple food is what we call swallow. You know, so that's the staple. But we just have to balance up, even though that is carb, a lot of carbohydrates. But then our soup is so rich that we could balance both of them. So
Right.
it's not like it's not right. I don't want to use that right
Right.
or wrong. It's just the content. How can we make the content nutritious? Can it be greener? Can the content be less oily? Some people, use oil. Like when you eat the food, you can already know that you're getting heart disease if you don't control yourself. So can we make it more nutritious? I think that's what we should be talking about. No food is right and no food is wrong, except if it is highly processed. But for our natural food that we have in this country, I don't want to say right or wrong.
Yeah. So when it comes to nutrition, you definitely have a story or a backline for nutrition. Do you understand? So, what advice can you give people out there when it comes to the kind of nutrients they take into their system, and what foods are best
To
to
consume.
what foods are best to consume, to improve nutrients or to improve the immune system of our bodies. Do you understand? You have a little story, a little nutritional story. I don't know if you definitely I don't know if you definitely had studied nutrition as a person, obviously. So we need like a backline story, and what are these foods that we can eat, that can help to boost the immune system.
Okay. When we are talking about the immune system, really, for me, the best food I have seen, and this might sound weird to our audience because it feels like something new, but it's not new, it has been here. When it comes to boosting your immune system, the best food I would recommend is fermented food. I don't know if you guys have heard it before.
What's fermented?
Food that are fermented is here. Things like yogurt. Yogurt is fermented.
Yeah.
Things like kunu. Kunu is fermented. Yes, but those are like the two that we know, like iru that we use in our food here. Iru, iru, right?
Okay.
So that's fermented. So a lot of fermented food. There's a lot of them. There is kimchi. There is sauerkraut. There is bitki fast. There's a lot of them. This food, what they do is that when you ferment them, you can do this at the comfort of your home. Actually, when you ferment this food, the bacteria it produces, is the same bacteria you have in your gut. You know, your gut you have in your intestine, both your large and the small intestine, is the same bacteria. And what it does is that it helps to build your immune system. When those bacteria populate, what they do is that they prevent you from getting sick. They prevent you from the bacteria in our gut. You understand? This is what this food does. So when you eat them, they populate your gut bacteria. When you don't eat them, the less the healthy gut bacteria in your system becomes lower, the higher the infection or the illness you get. So if you in nutrition we say that all sicknesses begin from the gut. It's what you eat. So when you eat a lot of fermented food, you know, like eating your rice with kimchi, which is a vegetable. Kimchi comes from what they call Chinese cabbage. So when you ferment it with a lot of ingredients like garlic, ginger, and all that, it becomes just, you know, like, I don't want to say magical, but that's how it sounds. So it becomes a miracle, really. So, but this is something new in this. It's not that it is new, but it's something that we have not people have not opened up their minds to, you know, maybe because of information. Yes. So when it comes to building, there are other ones. You can talk about cruciferous vegetables. You have your cabbage, you have your spinach, you have pawpaw, you have garlic. You know, these foods, they help to build the immune system. Really.
So I want us to talk about overall nutrition for our body, especially for food that we eat. What are the steps one can take to improve his or our overall nutrition? I want to focus on foods right now.
All right. So taking steps to increase your nutrition is first of all to get educated about what food does to your body. Once you have known that this food, because we have different kinds of food, we have different classes of food as well. You have your carbohydrates, you have protein, you have vitamins and minerals. All these foods are good. I don't like to demonize food. I don't demonize. Like, I don't say stop eating carbs, stop eating fat. You know, some people say that don't eat carb, it makes you fat. Don't eat fat, it makes you fat. That's really not true. So what I'm going to say about the food you need to eat for your general well-being is eat colors. I always say eat colors. What it means is that you eat all the colors of food. There is the red pepper, the yellow pepper, the green one. There is your white, the cabbage. You talk about greens. You have all those greens, the wedu, the ogo, the whatever. Then you have the red ones. You have your beetroot. You have your sweet potato. You know, just eat colors. When you look at your plate, look at colors. That's what I'm going to say. And this is what, don't just eat white and red, which is rice and stew, or eba and soup. There should be colors. There should be vegetables. There should be apple. There should be pawpaw or pineapple. Just think colors. When you are at the grocery shopping, I want you to remember this. Think colors. Think colors. Am I eating colors? That's the only way to ensure that you get all the classes of food. And don't eat highly processed, like choosing over biscuits. And it's better to choose an apple than to choose the biscuit. Do you understand that? So that's how to improve your overall health through eating colors, because all of them, they have different kinds of nutrients. If you don't eat them, you don't get the nutrients.
Right.
So that's the best way to do it.
There's one very prevalent sickness right now amongst the old people. That's the high blood pressure.
It's not among the old people.
Okay, it's among everybody.
Are you sure? Have you checked it? When last did you check your blood pressure?
Last month. So let's say
okay.
a week ago.
It's
so
not just the old. Even people under 21 now getting high blood pressure.
So can you really say there's a cause for this? Causes of this right now, we have it among the young people now, which wasn't this. It wasn't like this back in the days, or maybe it used to be like that. We didn't used to pay much attention.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, is there something that is really causing this high blood pressure? And are there certain foods we can eat, you know, to help the heart? Because I feel like high blood pressure has to do with, you know, blood and all of that.
Yes.
So are there certain things that we can eat, do you understand? Or we can prevent, or we should stop eating, or things we can eat that would, we stop all of this?
One major thing that causes high blood pressure and heart disease, because they go together. One major thing that causes, there are a lot of things that causes, but one is they call it chronic illnesses, because it's caused by something. Is our eating pattern. That's one of the major things that causes it. If you keep on eating highly processed food, high sugar food that are glossy and oil rich like that, your span of getting high blood pressure is just by the door. If your food are highly processed, what I mean by highly processed, food that don't have natural nutrients, that's where it starts. So if you don't want to get high blood pressure, there are other causes. If you have like diabetes, you can have high blood pressure because of that. So, but what gets you to diabetes is still unhealthy food. So if you eat unhealthy foods, like I've already said, foods like sugar, high sugar content, high processed carbohydrates. For young people, for everybody, starts from, it builds up from young people. So by the time you are getting to 35 or 40, then it manifests. So for everybody, highly processed food is, carbonated drinks. Because some people drink carbonated drink like 3 bottles a day. You are killing yourself. Some people smoke. That can lead to high blood pressure. So stress can lead to high blood pressure as well. So if you are looking at food that you should be eating, I will say again, plant-based food. Go to your vegetables. Go to especially if you have high blood pressure, you can take things like beetroot. Beetroot is very, very essential. It practically drops the systolic level of high blood pressure. It does. So I also use it as, I used to have high blood pressure. I used to have heart disease, but before I came into nutrition business, which is why I am in this business I'm doing, because I had to change my lifestyle. It's not just about the food, but also try to exercise, try to sleep better, and then you will. I mean, beetroot is very good. I will recommend beetroot any day, anytime.
Let's look at patients with diabetes.
Okay.
Tell us, what can they take to help them?
We say they can take. They are good with vegetables. They are good with vegetables. They are good with low carb food. Low carb food. That could be beans, which is not really low carb food though, even though it has a low carb, but beans is also high in carb. So I would say low carb food. Think of fruits like cucumber. Think of fruit like maybe carrots, and then avoid sugary food, sweet food. Of course, you should avoid totally processed food, highly processed food. Go to plantain, which is unripe plantain. They can eat yam, they can eat most of the food, but again, the issue there is portion control. Yes, they need to do portion control, and then they have to also to drink a lot of water, which is also important for everybody. Like when you say what are the foods to eat to improve our health, I think the first thing on that list is water. We need to drink water. It's so important. Water is the bedrock of our health, because every part of our body, most part of is made of water. The kidney is like about maybe, I'm not so sure, but maybe about 76% of water. The bones are like 36% of water. Everything in our body is made up of water. So if you are not drinking water, at first you will get dehydrated, and then your blood will get clogged. So that's even one of the causes of high blood pressure as well. So we need water, everybody. Whether you are sick or you're healthy, you need water.
Drink water.
Drink water.
Mind your business.